This is the Hefin Cathedral, home to two very well-known and distinct prayer training methods. One being a one-click AFK method that can net you anywhere from 285,000 to 350,000 prayer experience per an hour, and the other being a hyper-expensive and hyper-active method that can net you a bare minimum of 2.5 million experience per an hour, for the cost of 132 million coins. But did you know that there's a third method at the Hefin Cathedral that nobody talks about? One that can give you the best of both worlds. One that'll get you a fat stack of XP and give you plenty of AFK time. But before going through that prayer training method, we need to understand a few things. The first has to do with cleansing crystals. These crystals are obtained by either purchasing them from the Hefin Cathedral shop for 110,000 coins or pickpocketing Hefin workers. If used completely on the corrupted Saren stone, these crystals are worth a total of 9,800 prayer XP with no bonuses. This is divvied up by initially gaining 2,100 XP upon initially starting the cleansing process. Starting 3 seconds after the initial XP drop, you'll get 19 chunks of 275 XP every 6 seconds. And finally, 3 seconds after the final 275 experience drop, you'll gain 2,475 XP upon finishing the crystal. That means it takes just shy of 2 minutes to use an entire crystal. Next up, we have to look at the Hefin Cathedral shop. This shop sells each crystal for a total of 110,000 coins and carries a total of 30 crystals in stock. Now, this shop does restock fairly quickly at a rate of 1 crystal every 10 seconds, meaning it takes a total of 5 minutes for the shop to completely restock. This is going to be a very important number to remember when we go through the complete method. Next up, let's look at both normal prayer training methods. The first is the typical slow and AFK version that I talked about in my maximizing your AFK time video. So if you want further details on that, be sure to click the card in the top right. But in essence, you'll want a stack of crystals and a Terwin quiver 3 or 4. When you have the quiver equipped, when you finish using one crystal, the next crystal will automatically begin, meaning that as long as the lobby timer hasn't hit and you have crystals sitting in your inventory, you will continually gain prayer XP. With this method, you can use about 30 crystals an hour, meaning you'll gain roughly 294,000 XP per an hour at a cost of 3.3 million coins, or just north of 11 coins per 1 XP. Not a very high XP per an hour rate, nor a very good GP per an XP rate, but the benefit is it's very AFK. The fast non-AFK version abuses the fact that you can stop the cleansing process prematurely, so you can consistently get that 2,100 XP drop repeatedly. After starting the cleansing process, simply wait 5 game ticks or 3 seconds to start the next crystal by clicking on the corrupted Saren stone. Rinse and repeat, and then you have the method down. At peak efficiency, you can use 1,200 crystals per an hour, granting you a bare minimum of 2,520,000 experience. This will cost you a grand total of 132 million coins. However, this leads to its actual drawback, because as stated before, the shop only restocks 1 crystal every 10 seconds, meaning at most you can only gain 360 crystals per an hour. So if you plan on doing this method, you'll either need to pre-buy all of your crystals or have another activity that you can do while the shop is restocking. For our method, however, we're going to use a mix of the fast non-AFK version and the slow AFK version in order to gain a ton of XP and spend about 80% of our time completely AFK. Before doing this, you're going to want a couple of things set up to help you AFK. First off, you're going to want Alt 1 set up looking for prayer XP drops. In the settings of that XP drops, you can set the time to 7 seconds, since the largest gap of XP should be 6 seconds, with a minimum XP drop of 1 just to make sure it's tracking. Also make sure it's tracking your prayer skill. You'll also want the Terwin quiver 3 or 4 equipped on your player, just like you do for the AFK version. You're going to start by buying out the shop stock of 30 crystals. For the first 28 crystals, you're going to be looking for that 2,100 XP drop. Once you get that 2,100 XP drop, you simply wait 3 seconds and click the corrupt Saren stone again, and repeat until the first 28 crystals are used. For the final 2 crystals, we're going to let them run through all the way just like we do for the slow AFK version, which will give us approximately 4 minutes of AFK time. With this method, it'll take us about 84 seconds to use the first 28 crystals and another 228 seconds to use the final 2, for a total of 312 seconds per set, or 5 minutes and 12 seconds. 12 seconds over the time it would take for the shop to completely restock, meaning right away we can do it all over again. For a set of 30 crystals, we end up getting 78,400 XP for a cost of 3.3 million coins, giving us a cost of about 42 GP per an XP. Assuming it takes you 8 seconds to buy out the shop and repeat the process, you should be able to get about 11 sets done per an hour, leading us to a minimum XP rate of 862,400 XP per an hour. On Hefin hours, this bumps it up to 1,034,880 XP per an hour, at a cost of 33.6 coins per an XP. So is this method worth it? Well, from an Ironman perspective, I would say certainly, depending on what your plans are. Typically, we get our experience from AFKing Fire Lords, and this method will give you 2.5 times the amount of prayer XP as you get from Fire Lords, with more AFK time and less inventory management. Our other major option for prayer experience is burying our spare bones from PVM alongside with a powder of burials. This will typically lead to much faster prayer XP rates, but it's not AFK at all. Furthermore, it can be quite difficult to get all the bones we need for our post-max prayer training. For Ironman players, I would make the argument that you should use a combination of the powder of burials and bury all your spare bones from PVM, and then use this method to cap off your prayer training. For mains, this can be a little bit more murky actually, and that's because using Dragonkin bones with the powder of burials will give you 2.6 million experience per an hour at a much cheaper 25.8 GP per an XP. However, that method remains unaffected by double XP weeks, meaning you can use this method to get just as much or more XP during double XP weeks depending on the boost that you have available to you. And that's the method. Be sure to comment below whether you think this method is worth doing. While you're down there, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you like my content. As always, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.